Hello and welcome back to Genesis Designs and Modelcraft, and welcome to the introduction video for the 2025 Advent build. So for the last couple of years now I have taken part in Advent builds. I did publish multiple videos on last year's proceeding where I built the Armour Hobby Aerocobra P39 kit. So the Advent build is something I hop onto, that I get involved with, which is promulgated by Matt of Matt's Modelling Den. Now Matt primarily posts on Facebook and Instagram, so if you're interested in looking him up, that is where you'll find him. But I know him because I have worked with him in the Royal Air Force on the C-130J fleet, and he is basically a good mate at this point. So as it tends to go when you're in close proximity with other modellers doing things, you do get a healthy dose of FOMO when they're doing things and you want to get involved, and that's why I got involved with the Advent builds. But it also appeals to me on multiple other levels. I quite like the challenge aspect of it, and I also like the social aspect of it, with multiple other modellers on Instagram, following along, posting their progress, encouraging each other, and all of that. It makes for a nice, healthy, joyous atmosphere of a build, and I like that. So there is always some kind of theme. I think last year's was just single engined, I think. But this year it's the Tiger Moth, and this is in celebration of Matt's father, who sadly passed away recently, and this is kind of an homage to him. And I love Tiger Moths. I am very, very privileged to have flown in, and in fact flown briefly, Tiger Moths on 2 separate occasions now, and I will hopefully, if funds allow at any point, do so again, because it's quite wonderful. And I thoroughly recommend it. If you can put together a few £100, get yourselves down to Duxford, or over or up to Duxford, find Classic Wings and go for a flight in a Tiger Moth. It's wonderful. Anyway, here it is, the Tiger Moth Advent build. So this year I'm going to do this kit. This is the ICM 132nd Tiger Moth. I do have several of these now in the stash, but I had to buy a new one because the stash is all locked up in the garage at the moment. So I bought this kit from Vince at modelsforsale.com, and he does have these on the site currently for $19.99. So it's a very reasonable price. It also has the Airfix 48th offering, if memory serves, either $15 or $17.99. Probably the latter, but there are some of those on there too. Now forgive me, for I have already removed the colourful outer box, because these, I'm sure ICM have invented cardboard magnets that no one else has figured out yet, because these are so hard to get off. Anyway, the kit itself is in the separate flip top lid inner box. I have reviewed this kit on the channel. If you want to look at that review, I'll put a link down below. This is what you get. It is relatively simple, and it's not excessively large either. A little advert for ICM acrylics. So that's the kit I will be doing. This aircraft from the kit options, I will not be bothering with the bombs, but every other way I'll be doing this aircraft, this being N6919, number 1 Elementary Flying Training School, Royal Air Force, 1940. And to do this I will be utilising the one-man army mask and stencil set. So this does contain all of the necessary markings for that scheme, and all of the stencils as well, so I won't have to use any decals whatsoever. On top of that, I will be using an extensive suite of Aftermarket because I can. I don't know that the kit needs it because I've not yet built one, but we'll find out as we go along. This is what I've got for it. None of these are fantastically expensive by themselves, but of course if you get all of this, you'll triple the price of the purchase price of the kit. So I have CMK resin accessories, I have the Tiger Moth correction propeller. I have the main wheels and tail skid, so this has multiple different hubcap options and a resin tail skid. I have instrument panels with compass and combing, so these provide for, in fact I've opened this one, I'll show you directly. There's a new resin instrument panels themselves here, a pair. The padded combing pieces, photo etch compass brackets or compass holders, and then a set of decals for the instruments themselves. So this is, or should be, a fairly considerable upgrade over the kit parts. See, instructions for you. There is a big piece of clear acetate here, but I'm not sure why. It's not mentioned in the instructions. So I don't know. But that's that. And if you didn't want all of the extras, I would suggest that probably these instrument panels and the seat belts would make a good minimum. You know, I often wonder how I managed to be able to make such a decent job of models but patently can't put things back in their boxes. So yes, propeller, wheels, instrument panels and the fuel tank. So the Tiger Moth has a fuel tank. It's part of the centre section, or is the centre section of the wing. And a very prominent feature of said fuel tank is corrugations. It is fully corrugated on the top and on the sides, and the kit part has joints in places which make those corrugations very difficult to put right. So again, this is quite a nice, quite a worthy little addition. And then finally, Edward make an appearance with some seat belts. I've not used these steel ones before, so we'll see what those are like. But the kit doesn't include any form of seat belt, so with it also having open cockpits, I do think some sort of seat belt is pretty necessary. And the final accessory is rigging. I do have in amongst my kits in the stash some photo etched rigging, but I can't access that currently. And with this being a short duration build, I've decided not to use photo etch rigging anyway. I'm going to use this. This is the Aero Club, nominally Aero Club rigging thread. This is lycra thread, and this is actually flat. So I think it should make a reasonable representation in scale. I may use some small pieces of tubing to help represent the fittings, but then again I might not when it comes to it. As I say, it is a fairly compressed timescale for the build, but the rigging threads are available. These are the Ushi van der Rosten sort of style, but these frankly in this scale are too fine to represent the rigging of a Tiger Moth, because Tiger Moth rigging isn't cable, it's actually flat metal bars, so I think this will do a better job. So that's what I'll be using for the build itself. The build will begin on December the 1st, and the aim is for the model to be finished and revealed by December the 24th, hence the Advent moniker, and indeed hence the compressed timescale that I mentioned. I will be aiming to put out multiple videos across that sort of 3-week period, so you'll get more videos than you would in, I normally only release one video a week, but throughout this Advent build it will be slightly more than that. I'm thinking probably 4 to 6 videos across that period, and they won't necessarily be on the Fridays either. I will also, as I did last year, be providing on the spot detailed and in-depth reviews of festive foodstuffs from the UK as part of this, which is an aspect of it that I really enjoyed last year. So this is your heads up. If you want to have a crack yourself at an Advent build along with me and the other guys on Instagram. Everyone is going to be building Tiger Moths, so there'll be plenty of inspiration across Facebook, Instagram and probably YouTube as well. So that's it for this. This is just the intro. I look forward to seeing you in December to follow along with the build itself and of course my snack reviews. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks to all my channel members and supporters on buymeacoffee.com, and I look forward to seeing you soon for the Advent build. With all of that said, it only remains for me to say, till next time, look after yourselves, look after each other, and Genesis out.